Okay, I've got the Nepest wheels on the bike here. If you want to see a video on all the updates and the weights and stuff like that, I'll have that linked over here and in the description. But I've got the wheels on my Seeker Spear. I've been riding them around the UK. I've been riding them around here in Mallorca. And this is what they feel like to ride. They're going to go on my rankings list, which you can see on screen now. And you can then compare them to other wheel sets and how they ride and how they feel. Let's get into the ride. Before we get onto the handling, I just want to quickly say you might notice a change in kit on this video because it absolutely chucked it down, and well, I decided to terminate the ride, go home, and I'm trying again this afternoon. Okay, so initially the wheels here, they feel like they have a very light turn in action. Now part of that will be due to the very light weight of the wheels and the spokes and the hubs. You know, there's just less gyroscopic force to fight against as you tip the wheels in or tip the bike in, depending on how fast you're going, if you're counter steering or not. So yeah, initial tip in, very light and easy. But then when you're going around the corner, the next good part about these wheels is, I'm gonna mention the spokes here, and I'm gonna mention them a lot in this video. They feel very stable going around the corners, no matter what lean angle you're at. You know, if there's a little bit of roughness on the road, just because the spokes are a lot thinner, they absorb the bumps and the vibrations midway through the corner a lot better than most carbon spokes do. So they feel a bit more stable, closer to a steel spoked wheel than what I'm used to for a carbon wheel. Just makes it easier to find that carving feeling, that sensation of carving around the corner. So they do well here. They're going to start with a 4 out of 4 on the handling. Next up is the wind stability. Now on this wheel compared to the old one, they've gone from more of a V-taper to a U shape. And I will say, I think that this has definitely improved the handling in the side winds. I mean, to be honest, with these wheels, I barely feel it at all. I'm on the island of Mallorca right now, pretty much always windy. We've had lots of storms these past few days. And to be honest, when the wind hits this wheel, it kind of feels like it just caresses it and then moves on. You know, it doesn't grab it, it doesn't pull it, it doesn't yank it, it just touches it and goes. I always need to caveat in my videos, guys, I weigh 90 kilos, okay? So the wind is always going to affect me a lot less than it does some other people. So please bear that in mind when I'm talking about the wind stability. What about responsiveness? Do they react quickly when you put the power down? And the answer is yes. Very quickly. Just as usual with a high top end wheel, it feels like there's absolutely no flex, no lag between the moment you put the power down and that wheel accelerating. Once again, part of this is going to be due to the weight. You know, it's only a 1300 gram wheel set. It's always going to feel light and snappy. And part of it's down to the carbon spokes as well. Carbon spokes tend to be a bit stiffer than a steel spoke. So yeah, the reactiveness of the wheels is very nice. Even if you're just doing some normal climbing, the moment you get out the saddle and just want to pump a couple more watts in, it just makes the bike feel really good underneath you. It feels really reactive. So it's gonna have to be another 4 out of 4 in this category. It's 3 in a row for this wheel set now. Are they comfortable? Yes. Well, when I say yes, I mean for a carbon spoke. Now, usually carbon spokes only just about get a pass on the comfort front, but these ones are a little bit longer because they go further into the rim with those hidden spoke nipples. They're also a lot thinner, which is a very good thing. And to be honest, for a carbon spoke, it actually makes them quite good. Now they still don't quite match a steel spoke, but for what they are, you probably can't complain, especially with the weight that those carbon spokes save. And I think that all bike wheels are going to go this way in the future with carbon spokes. They're just going to get thinner, thinner and thinner. And these guys are kind of leading the way on that. The spokes are so thin, they actually look like a steel spoke. It's crazy. So yeah, it's going to get a good, not just a pass, which is weird for a carbon spoke. I just think that extra thinness on the spokes really does smooth out the road a little bit more. Now it's not like it's going to change your life kind of thing, but it's better than what it was. And it's moving in the right direction. They've actually done a lot more to their spokes as well, guys. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to have a previous video linked here again, down below in the description, so you can find out what innovations they've done. They've actually managed to make spokes interesting. My next category in this review is the weight of the wheels. Now these wheels come in at 1320 grams. Now that weight for me gets a big thumbs up in my book. Once again, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot in these videos with the Chinese wheels, but the Western brands, most of them aren't hitting those weights. Also, once again, I know a lot of wheels are lighter out there, but they've done lots of things. Thanks, man. They've done lots of things to make the wheels more robust. They've designed the spokes so they have like literally zero torsion in them. They could have used aluminium spoke heads and nipples, but they used titanium to be more corrosion resistant. They actually added weight back into the rim to make it even more robust. The maximum weight limit on this thing is 125 kilos. You know, all these extra light rims and stuff, a lot of them have a maximum weight of 90 kilos. I'm on that limit. I shouldn't be able to ride those wheels, but these, I'm confident riding on them. So for that kind of weight, for me, in my opinion, it's top scores, 4 out of 4. Until they make those lighter wheels have heavier weight limits, they're probably not quite robust enough yet, in my opinion. Oh, these two are big ones. What about the looks, the shop window factor? Do we think they look cool? And well, these have actually grown on me a lot, even with the kind of like a space and contour map gradient lines and stuff. And the main reason is I think they just suit my bike. You know, I've got a purple bike here, you can't see it now, but here's what it looks like in the sun. And yeah, it just kind of fits like kind of the spacey theme and the color. I think if it didn't have the contours and stuff, it would be a better looking wheel. Like you can see the raw carbon through it and things like that. It looks lovely normally, but I'm gonna have to dock a point just because I don't think those contours are gonna suit everybody's wheel. And finally, the name Nepest, I think they could have put the Nova logo as the big bit and made the Nepest a little bit smaller, or maybe just swap the two logos out. You know, the Nova's a really nice name. Here in the Western world, Nepest doesn't sound the sexiest, to be honest. Speed! Are these wheels fast? And it's a simple answer, yes. I'm always going to refer back to it, but Pete Torque did a lot of testing on wheels, and kind of every wheel at the same depth is about as fast as each other. These ones are 55 mil deep, a depth that I really like, kind of like a sweet spot depth, 50, 55. And to me, they feel exactly the same as every other wheel I've ever used at this depth, to be honest. I've got 30 on the front, a 32 on the rear, and it feels like the aerodynamic sweet spot for these wheels, plus comfort. And to be honest, when I go down my normal hills here and in the UK, I'm kind of hitting the exact same speeds as I do on everything else. Okay, there's a few more chapters to whiz through in this video, and we're going to kick it off with internal and external rim widths. Internal comes in at 23 millimeters, which I think is like a really nice sweet spot for road bike tires, in my personal opinion. You know, the tires just seem to fit on there really well, kind of blows most tires out by about an extra 2 millimeters, so you can predict how wide they're going to be. Then external rim widths, 30 millimeters, generally very good. I think I personally would like a little bit wider, maybe 32 to 35, mainly just because, well, I live in the UK with UK roads and they're not the best in the world. So having that wider rim width to fit that wider tire as aerodynamically, I think is a really nice thing to have. If you live out here, like in Mallorca and Spain and stuff, then probably 30 is perfectly acceptable. Next up, I know how many of you absolutely love a Freehub sound test. For me, it's that actually kind of nice in-between noise. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet. People still hear you coming, but you're not shouting your way down the hills and when you're freewheeling. So yeah, I think quite a nice Freehub noise. Nice in-between sound. Ah, the sun's come out. You can see the paint job on the bike. Yes. So guys, to conclude these wheels, for me, I think there's a lot of innovation in these things. And they cost a little bit more than some other Chinese wheels. But what they've done with the spokes, I think is really innovative. You know, as I was chatting about in the weight section and stuff, like these guys have done a lot of things that make me confident personally on the wheels. And here's the thing, guys, at the moment, the Chinese development cycle is every single year. In my opinion, on the wheels front, this is the year that they've caught up, and these guys are in there, in the fight, developing really good stuff. And to be honest, I'm kind of finding it harder and harder with these Chinese wheels to pick them apart. They're just doing everything right. They're listening to feedback. These guys specifically asked me, Jace, what can you feel isn't right on these wheels? And I'm like, I don't know. Guys, if these wheels do interest you, I do have a discount code below, which will give you about 8% off. They have lots of rim depth options. These are the 55s. I'll put a screenshot on screen now of all the other options down below. Well guys, here's the score sheet for you. Feel free to pause the screen and have a look at it yourself. As I said, I really struggled to pick up weaknesses in these wheels, so they've scored very, very well. In terms of performance, I'm not sure how they're going to make these much better, and well, I look forward to seeing where these companies go in the future. If you have any more questions for me that you think I have missed on these wheels, please stick them in the comments down below. I reply to pretty much most things. You can also message me privately over here on Instagram, and I'll reply to most things there again, or you can just follow my daily shenanigans. Anyway guys, I've been Jason, this has been Cycling Unboxed. Catch you in another video.